This is a historic event, a 1,000-year event.
Because some entrances into America's oldest national park could be impassable for months.
Where the ground is moving significantly upward. We'd also combine that with seismic activity.
Deep within the heart of Yellowstone National Park lies an imminent threat. The tranquility of the park is shattered by the ominous signs of a colossal volcano waking from its slumber. The recent sudden uplift of the ground has sent shockwaves through the scientific community and sparked a sense of unease across the entire nation. Despite Yellowstone's history of sporadic eruptions, nothing could have prepared us for this unprecedented and terrifying event. As the park officials take drastic measures to safeguard visitors, the question that remains on everyone's mind is, will this slumbering giant awaken and unleash an unimaginable catastrophe? Follow us on this perilous journey as we delve into the mysteries of Yellowstone and uncover the truth behind the recent closure of the park. Yellowstone National Park may seem like a serene and picturesque location, but it's anything but ordinary. Established in 1872, Yellowstone is known as the world's first national park, and it's also home to the Yellowstone Caldera, that has been closely monitored by scientists since 1923. The caldera is a massive basin that sits at the peak of the Yellowstone volcano, and it's often referred to as a supervolcano. According to the Natural History Museum in London, this term is used because the Yellowstone caldera has the potential to unleash a magnitude 8 eruption on the Volcanic Explosivity Index. This kind of eruption could discharge more than 1,000 cubic kilometers or 240 cubic miles of material. To put that into perspective, the famous eruption of Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines in 1991, which is considered one of the most powerful volcanic eruptions in recent history, was only rated a 6 on the same index. That means that the Yellowstone supervolcano eruption could be over 100 times more powerful than the one at Mount Pinatubo. Recent magma activity has caused the ground to swell and rise by up to 10 inches, indicating that the magma is cooling and hardening. But this could also be a sign that the monster is ready to awaken. Scientists are studying the last 3 known eruptions to predict what to expect from a potential Yellowstone eruption, and the evidence of the most recent one, which occurred over 600,000 years ago, can still be seen across the vast expanse of the park. The largest eruption in Yellowstone's history occurred 2.1 million years ago and ejected over 580 cubic miles of volcanic ash, magma, gases, and other substances, making it the largest eruption ever recorded in the history of North America. Now, let's take a journey back in time, 1.3 million years ago, when Mesa Falls erupted in Yellowstone and created Henry's Fort caldera, located to the west of Yellowstone. This eruption may have been the smallest of the 3 Yellowstone eruptions, but it still managed to generate 67 cubic miles of volcanic material. Fast forward to the most recent known eruption, the Lava Creek eruption, which expelled less than half the amount of material as the Huckleberry Ridge eruption, but it managed to cover a larger surface area. This monstrous eruption unleashed a large volume of volcanic ash and gas with tremendous force, wreaking havoc beyond the confines of Yellowstone National Park. In fact, the magma and volcanic debris engulfed most of the continental United States, and some debris was even found thousands of miles away in Louisiana. The aftermath of these catastrophic eruptions left the Yellowstone volcano swallowing everything in its path, from forests to mountains, before collapsing in on itself and forming a depression that still exists today. The closest similar volcanic eruption we have seen in recent history is the infamous Mount St. Helens eruption in 1980, which caused the loss of 56 human lives, countless animals, and destroyed hundreds of square kilometers of land in Washington and Oregon. Comparing the infamous Mount St. Helens eruption to the last Yellowstone supervolcano eruption would be like comparing a firecracker to a nuclear bomb. The eruption, estimated to be 1,000 times more powerful than St. Helens, spewed out a deluge of scorching ash, molten rock, and lethal gases high into the sky, possibly blanketing a vast area of the continent. The blistering magma and toxic fumes bulldozed everything in their path, leaving nothing but destruction and ash-coated terrain. The Yellowstone Caldera is a chilling reminder of the last eruption, stretching 30 miles wide and 45 miles long, with remnants of the eruption still visible in the lava creek tuff. While we all hope for the best, the geological records cannot be ignored. A volcanic eruption of that magnitude is a catastrophic event that no one, not even any country, can fully prepare for. Although experts cannot rule out the possibility of another eruption, they remain hopeful and pray for the best. While most people think of volcanic eruptions as massive explosions with lava flowing everywhere, there are many different types of volcanic events, ranging from minor to catastrophic. For instance, hydrothermal explosions, which are steam and hot water eruptions, are less severe than a full-scale eruption but can still be dangerous. One type of volcanic activity that is less destructive is lava flows. Unlike explosive eruptions, lava flows occur when molten rock oozes out of cracks and slowly flows over the ground. While still a type of magmatic eruption, they are not as catastrophic as a full-scale caldera-forming eruption. Fortunately, Yellowstone has only had one caldera-forming eruption, but it was a doozy, occurring over 600,000 years ago. Yellowstone also had a lava flow about 70,000 years ago, and there were approximately 30 additional lava flows following the major eruption. Even though it has been thousands of years since the last lava flow, visitors to Yellowstone can still see evidence of this volcanic activity. The rock layers and lava strata in the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone offer a fascinating glimpse into the park's volcanic history. However, recently, authorities at Yellowstone have made a shocking discovery. A colossal chunk of magma is throbbing deep beneath the surface, and no one knows if this might lead to less severe volcanic events like hydrothermal explosions or lava flows. The increased activity has sparked widespread discussion about the likelihood of a full-scale eruption, and if it were to happen, how destructive would it be? Volcanoes thrive on magma, and it's the explosive component that causes them to erupt. The Yellowstone supervolcano, known for its geysers, is loaded with magma. But not all of it can erupt because it consists of both solid and liquid components. Scientists have used a new technique to analyze 20-year-old seismic data to determine the amount of molten rock that could potentially erupt if the volcano were to blow. According to their study, published in the journal Science, the upper magma reservoir contains more liquid magma than previously thought, ranging from 16 to 20%. Previous estimates had put the figure at about 10%. For 2 million years, there has been a massive magmatic system there, stated Brandon Schmant, a geophysicist at the University of New Mexico and one of the study's authors. It does not look like it's going away, that's for sure. Scientists are curious about what the future holds for the Yellowstone volcano, so they have been trying to figure out the amount and location of molten rock near the surface. Unlike tanks of constantly liquid rock, magma reservoirs are like mazes with crystalline boundaries that contain the hot, buoyant liquid. The more molten rock there is, the more likely the volcano is to erupt. Previous research on Yellowstone revealed two magma reservoirs, one containing viscous magma located 3 to 10 miles beneath the surface, and another containing more substantial amounts of runnier magma found 12 to 30 miles down. It was previously believed that only about 2% of the deeper reservoir and 5 to 15% of the shallower reservoir were made up of molten rock. Volcanologists are always on the lookout to identify magma reservoirs, and one of their primary methods is monitoring earthquakes. Seismic waves travel through the depths of the earth before being picked up by surface seismometers, and their speed changes when they pass through hot and partially molten rock. By analyzing the travel times of these waves, scientists can determine the location and characteristics of the magma reservoirs. However, this method has its limitations, as seismic waves can sometimes bend around molten pockets, and the assumption that seismic waves travel in a straight line from the quake to the seismometer is not entirely accurate, resulting in some crucial information being lost. In their latest research on the Yellowstone volcano, scientists delved into a 20-year archive of seismic noise that captured sounds from the ocean, human activity, and the wind. They opted to steer clear of conventional seismic techniques and instead relied on sophisticated computer models to simulate how seismic waves travel through the Earth. By doing so, they were able to uncover the volcano's elusive molten rock that had been overlooked previously. The team discovered that seismic waves were significantly delayed when traveling through a depth of 2 to 5 miles, which corresponds to the upper portion of the shallower magma reservoir of the Yellowstone volcano. The delay indicates that up to 20% of the entire reservoir may be liquid magma, according to the study's findings. In recent times, the frequency of earthquakes in the Yellowstone area has increased. Every year, the park experiences up to 3,000 tremors, some of which are too insignificant to be reported. But the growing strength and frequency of the earthquakes could suggest a new batch of magma is being injected into the volcano's chamber. While it's difficult to predict what will happen next, the undeniable evidence of increased volcanic activity, as shown by the continuously growing dome-shaped uplift, has forced Yellowstone officials to close the park. This closure was implemented to protect visitors and researchers in the event of a volcanic eruption, which appears to be closer now than it has been in the past 600,000 years. In the event of a full-fledged volcanic eruption, evacuating the park alone won't suffice to protect human lives and property. Whole cities might have to be evacuated, and in the worst-case scenario, residents in adjacent states could be forced to relocate far from the park. However, there is no assurance that even this will be enough, given the sheer size of the potential eruption. Now share your thoughts on this recent development in Yellowstone by leaving a comment down below.